July 19, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There's no economic data that came out today to really move the markets. This is what the chart looked like today. This is the pre-market high is actually up here, but I kind of thought there was a range here and the pre-market low here. There was kind of this big rally in the pre-market. It chopped around. It almost looked like it was sideways with a bearish bias, but then it turned out to be looking like one big leg down, a pullback, and another leg down. Overall, it was kind of a sell-off day, similar to what happened yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty big sell-off. Today was just kind of a consolidation, continuation sell-off. I'm just going to go pinpoint my trades instead of going bar by bar. It makes the video shorter. So, took a total of 2 trades today. Both were profitable. Okay, so this is what the pre-market looked like. It was a sell-off in 2 legs and then kind of a rally on multiple swings, but it did follow this big green, I guess, trend channel going up, another sell-off. And the first setup that I saw was actually a pretty decent setup. It's this yellow down channel. There's a break and it tests and makes a new low. So it actually made a new low by 1 tick, but for all intents, it broke and made a new low. So you just go ahead and move this up. And it also fell in another channel. So it broke on the yellow channel, made a new low, broke on the orange channel, also made a new low. I also saw this as a new high. It's a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and a potential triple test. So I thought this was actually a decent setup. It happened, kind of early in the day, so I gave it a little, I wanted kind of like a higher low confirmation, so I ended up skipping this trade, but this is actually a pretty decent setup. Prices moved up, then it looked like it made one entry, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and then here it created kind of like another micro triple test, bullish bias, because it broke the yellow channel. Whether it broke out here or not, you could say maybe it tests the highs, but I see it as still needing to potentially test the highs. So it's first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and you have a new low here, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. So there's 2 key entry points, potentially a third triple test. Even though the signal bar is doji, I thought this is a possible trade. You were able to get on that one. It just kind of rocketed up. Test the pre-market highs. And this is actually where I actually set up my first and take my first trade coming up. There's a sell-off on this yellow down channel. It breaks and tests and makes a new low. I like the day already. It's obeying price action by every time it breaks the highs. If it's going down, it breaks and it tests and makes a new low. If it breaks an up channel, it breaks and then tests the new high. So here it broke, tested a new low, and it's coming back up. And I took a higher low trade right here. So what happened was, this is technically a new high. You technically have a first entry long here, then a second, but I saw this as one big leg, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and then it created a higher low here, technically a third entry long, but visual, one leg, second leg, and then pull back, and there's a small higher low right here. And I also saw a hidden second entry short failure. So it's a new low here. It closes up here, opens here. So this is your first entry short. So it's one pullback, pushes up. On the second one, where it closes is also where it opens. It does a bunch of things, and then it actually closes lower. So I saw this first entry short pullback, second entry short, all within this tiny little movement. First entry short, second entry short, failure. So I saw that. I also saw this potential up channel touching 1, 2, 3 times. And so I thought, okay, I want to see this candle break above this guy, then I'd enter. So I was watching and waiting. It got close. I put my stop limit order here. It flashed up and then quickly let me get my scalp. So it's first trade of the day. Then subsequently after, there's another, I guess, possible trade that I saw. It creates a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, good signal bar. I like that it moved 1 tick below, then it flushed, actually 2 ticks below, then it flushed really strongly and closed at the high. So it could be seen as a break of this orange channel, first attempt up, pullback, second attempt up. So I thought there's a possible trade right here. Then prices, so it makes 2 legs up. I don't have this green down channel drawn yet. Prices move down and moves on this yellow down channel, breaks and tests the new low. And already, I like what I'm seeing. Price action is kind of being obeyed pretty well. Every time there's a break, it tests the extreme, which is nice. And then it kind of does a correction or reversal. So it's a new low, first entry short, pullback. This is technically a second entry short right here, but it's not a good signal bar. I don't like that there's so much stem down here. It hits a new low here, localized new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short failure. Now, the second entry short failure Excuse me. I thought it was more of an almost trade because yes, it is a second entry short that failed, but this one failed to break above this guy. It closed the high, and this is kind of making new highs here. And I could already tell there's kind of this choppiness. So I wasn't really that, I guess, excited seeing this because it felt a little, you spent some time below the EMA and now you're above the EMA. So it doesn't feel like, even when I drew this orange up channel, my concern was I'm going to run into this potential resistance of this orange up channel. So there's not enough room up here when you only have this candle printed. So I decided it was kind of an almost trade. Then it hits the top, kind of flushes back down. I drew this support, and then it looked like it fit this purple channel during this time. So it kind of flushes back down, first entry long, and that's all you get. It's choppy. You just kind of piano bars here. Not only do you have piano bars, they're like pretty huge, like side by side. So it's just kind of like going from one extreme to the other. So this is definitely not a good trading area to be in. Go ahead and push that up. Okay, so then it breaks out of this purple down channel. I don't really see any clean second entries that I particularly like. There's a lot of first entries. It hits a new low here. You have first entry short, second entry short. This would have been marked, but it's an inside bar and it's too far from the EMA. It needed to touch the EMA and come back down and not close as low because I see potential support area right here. So I don't want to be shorting into that. It breaks out of this bigger yellow down channel, and it starts moving back up. It's a little choppy here, kind of staying away from this noise. And it comes back and kind of sets up here. So I saw a second entry short here. It makes a localized new low, which is breaking below what I call the pre-market low. Technically, it's all the way down here, but I saw, there's like more solid footing, more potential support here. So I saw a break here. It makes one leg up, pull back, second leg up. So it looks like it's two clean legs. A second entry short looks like it's forming right there. Unfortunately, I called it an almost trade because even though it's two clean legs up, that's all I really have. It's bouncing off the bottom of this potential trend line support. I didn't really have the top side confirmed or trusting it too much, but I did see the bottom looking like, at least from here to here, some kind of support here. So it's coming off the bottom. Made two attempts up. I'm thinking it might want to push up to the other side, but I'm not too sure. So it felt a little ambiguous. So I left it alone. But then it sets up a possible trade here. It makes a localized new high by one tick, first entry long pullback, potential second entry long right here. It's a good signal bar. EMA is starting to show some upward bias. It's starting to like kind of pull out of the sideways movement. So I thought this might have been a potential trade. There's enough room for the highs here, the localized high there for a quick scalp. And it's a decent signal bar. So if prices move up, then it continues chopping. At this point, I connected this, and I'm thinking I'm working in this larger green down channel. Prices move down on this yellow. It gets a little noisy. Again, it's a break, test the new low, and it's been doing that all day, which is welcome because the price action is fitting pretty clean within these channels, which is really not very often, which is great. The new low, first entry short, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry short way up here, but this is your signal bar, which isn't a very good signal bar. Then you have a follow-up doji. So if you're waiting, so if seeing this in real time, this doesn't look very convincing to try to take a short on just yet. Of course, then it flashes down and makes a big move, but you don't know at the time. Comes down, it kind of hits this consolidation area. Nothing I particularly like. Let's go to the next trade. This is also where I take my second trade of the day. So it breaks out of this consolidation area. It's the low of the day. It pushes up and it moves up. So when it hits this one, I drew this trend line support. So I'm thinking, okay, my channel could actually be something tighter. Then it broke out, kind of dwelled outside, and is coming back. So I actually dragged it a little bit higher. So there's a small break here. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I like that this signal bar bounced off the EMA and it's bouncing off the pre-market lows, or what I designated as the lows, which touched once, twice, had a big dwell time out here, but it looks like it could potentially bounce there. It's a pretty decent signal bar. It's a break of this green channel. The break of this green down channel already tested a low, so I'm thinking the downtrend here could have played out. prices could be moving back into this yellow up channel. It's like pulling back in. So I decided to take an entry right at the highs and not one tick above just to reduce my risk. It turned out to be a profitable trade. So that was, fortunate. It hits and it looks like there's some kind of resistance being respected here. So at this time, I'm thinking, could there potentially be a trading range from this being the high and this being the low? It's pretty large though. I need a few more runs, to the top to the bottoms to trust it. It comes back down on this yellow or this orange down channel. There's no clean second entries that I could find or that I felt safe. Technically, you do have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short, but this just felt like it wasn't really in any area. You could have argued if you had this orange down channel, it's a resistance here, but clearly in real time when you're seeing this, it's having trouble breaking through this support. So when you see this, and then you see this, I'm not ready to bank on a continuation down just yet. But then it does flash down because I think it could easily just have reversed back up, potentially move above this candle and stopped you out. The price to move down is break of this break of this orange down channel. I saw this as a new low, first entry short. Now this is kind of subtle. It comes back down, it pulls up. This is an inside bar, but the next candle creates a second entry short right there. First entry short, second entry short. Now it looks like there's a lot of momentum pushing down. It's a break of this orange down channel. What I was thinking is this break of this orange down channel wants to test the low. Technically, you could say the break is here, but I don't like that this break is too close. I want a more decisive break. So I consider it all part of the same leg. First break, push down, and I'm expecting probably a test of this low. So if you were going to take a trade, I would have entered probably at the lows of this candle right here. And looks like you would have gotten filled, flushed down. Didn't mean to move that. And then this candle would have given you the scalp. So then prices continue moving, gets choppy. EMA is starting to come into play, seeming to be more bearish. It falls into this choppy, not very clean channel. Hits this consolidation. I'm thinking there's some kind of resistance here. I'm not ready to call this a trading range yet. It creates a new low here, localized new low. First entry short, pullback, second entry short, and then it actually creates a third entry short here. But I also saw this as a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. And I thought this is actually a possible trade because I didn't have this yellow up channel going for it yet, but I saw that this was some kind of resistance earlier. It broke out, potentially a failed breakout of a still to be confirmed trading range, could be lows here, but nevertheless, it's kind of a failed breakout. It came back in, pushed up. So this failed to meet the bottom, pushed up, and it looked like it's a breakout pullback, but they also made first entry long, second entry long, bouncing off of this previous resistance. EMA is starting to hold. Keep in mind, this up channel doesn't exist, so I can't use it as a key entry point. It's a decent signal bar. I like that it moved one tick below, traps everybody, thinking it's a first entry long, second entry long failure. It traps everybody, then pushes up, and not only does it push up one tick above, it closes at the high. So I like that this was a higher low setup, and I thought there would have been enough momentum to get a quick scalp out of that. Prices then continue moving up. It starts reversing. At first, I thought it was a green down channel, then I found this orange down channel. Breaks, makes one push up. And I saw this as a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. The second entry long, I was kind of going back and forth, thinking, it's too far from the EMA, but the thing you got going for it is a potential triple test, one touch, two touch, three touch. It does look like two clean legs pushing down after the break of this green up channel. I didn't really see it as an overshoot on this side. I saw it as one leg down, pull back, second leg, and then prices likely want to push back up into this green trading range. This is also only a 4-tick candle, so it's a relatively safe candle, not safe candle, excuse me, relatively low risk candle. So I thought that was a possible trade here. Here you're clearly ranging at this point, and I thought this was a decent trade here because you'd be buying at the low off of a really good signal bar. Because when you see one leg down, pull back, second leg down, whether it's two legs down or just one leg down, you met the lows and it reversed really strongly. So when you see this in real time, I think there's enough room and enough momentum to get a quick scalp out because you clearly have more than a triple test, like a multiple test here. So I thought this is actually a decent trade to have taken with a good signal bar. breaks out, has an overshoot, comes flushing back down, and I actually see this kind of this last setup, but I thought it was more of an almost trade. So it breaks out of this yellow down channel overshoot, and you're expecting another overshoot on this side. So it actually makes one leg up, pull back, second leg up. So in real time, I see this. I'm thinking, okay, is there a second entry short here? There's a possible second entry short here. It's a decent setup, has two legs up, break of this yellow down channel, and EMA rejection. The thing I don't like, so in any other context, this is a great trade to take. The thing that's stopping me is it's 12:43 with regular trading hours closing in 17 minutes. Now, if this trade has set up anywhere else throughout the day, I think it's a great trade. But since it's only 17 minutes, I don't really want to take this trade because it has so many things going for it, except it's so late in the day. Similarly, if that trade had set up way over here, I would be reluctant to take the trade as well because I don't want this to, you know, have the rare instance where it fails and then uh, pretty much takes away any of the profits that I got out of the two trades that I had. So it's kind of how I saw the charts today. Hopefully that was helpful.